Hey there everyone, I'm Fox 10 News meteorologist Jennifer Lambers with an update on your forecast. And so we are continuing to track potential tropical cyclone number 9. And so if you are just now joining us, just let me know where you're watching from and what you're thinking with this tropical system. So again, let's go ahead and dive right in to what we're tracking at this time and really just continuing to see more of that strengthening. So we did get that last advisory update from the National Hurricane Center just at that 7 p.m. advisory update, expecting that next one once we get closer towards 10 p.m. So still tracking north-northwest at 7 miles per hour, and the pressure is at 1,002 millibars. Now, the biggest update came at 4 p.m. when the National Hurricane Center forecasted for this to become a major Category 3 hurricane at landfall. So here is going to be that projected path. And in case you're just now joining us, again, we're going to be live on Facebook and YouTube. Plus, also we're joining in on our Gulf Coast Live or on our Gulfstream app. So in case you're going to be joining us through the app or also through our Fox 10 Weather app, or any of those Roku or Apple devices. So again, I'm just now joining in on the comments here on our Facebook Live. So thank you to Jonathan and Robert. I see you guys watching there. If you guys do have any questions, just feel free to drop them below there. I'm getting ready for the 9 p.m. newscast, so we gotta keep this one unfortunately a little bit quicker for the timing. Had some technical issues earlier, so I wasn't able to go live at 7 with that latest update. But I'm just going to try and get through some of this information here to keep you in the know and in the loop. But in case you miss any of that, I will also be live on Fox 10 News at 9 and 10 p.m. So again, here is going to be that 7 p.m. update. Still potential tropical cyclone number 9. Until we get further on into tomorrow, we're not expecting it to become that name system just yet. By your Tuesday around lunchtime, likely in that 2 p.m. advisory update, even tomorrow morning, we could see Tropical Storm Helene begin to form. Now, here is the forecasted path. Still expected to become that Category 3 major hurricane once it gets closer towards that landfall approach. Still quite a few questions until this gets that center circulation. One of those questions is going to be if it strengthens before it pushes into the southern Gulf when it's passing through the Yucatan Peninsula. I'll talk more about that coming up in just a moment. But here's a look at the models. I will say that they are in agreement. They are staying pretty consistent for what they're forecasting there. Still continuing just to push it towards Panama City, towards the east track there, Appalachia Bay, the Big Bend region, so not including us. But as mentioned, still some shifts in the track are possible until it begins to get that center circulation, that close center low heading into tomorrow. But models still staying pretty consistent and pretty tight there for that Big Bend approach. Now, here's a look at the tropical alerts that are already in place. We've been seeing some of those tropical storm warnings that are in place for portions of Mexico and also Cuba. If you look towards the Keys, they're highlighted in that tropical storm watch. But if you look closer towards Cozumel, you see that little sliver of pink. That's where that hurricane watch is in effect. As mentioned, there's still some questions on if what is soon to be Helene could strengthen into a hurricane before it pushes into the southern Gulf. If so, then we will see greater impacts closer towards Cozumel and Cancun as that possible Category 1 hurricane. So here is going to be the GFS Futurecast. So this is going to be starting off for Monday morning. So it already started off earlier today. Continuing to push heading into this evening or into tomorrow evening, and then we get closer towards Wednesday morning. That's where that strengthening is really taking place. It gets its act together closer towards midweek. But the thing to know with Helene, we're expecting this to be a significant storm, that major hurricane pushing into the Gulf, especially it's going to be having an environment that it can thrive in. The Caribbean is looking great. The Gulf waters are looking great. There's a little bit of wind shear that it's going to be encountering. But if you step down to the Gulf waters, even after we had Francine move through and knocked it down just a little bit, it's still warm out there, low shear, still some of that it's going to be interacting with. But look closer towards that. So Wednesday morning, look at the speed too. That was really something that stood out to me. We get closer towards Thursday morning at 6 a.m. and just how quickly it's going to be pushing closer towards the Big Bend region of Florida heading into Thursday evening. Very fast moving system. Couple factors at play here we have a upper level low that's going to be situated over the mid-south. So you're going to have that counterclockwise rotation just closer towards Mississippi. You can start to see some of those winds just out of the north. And then just offshore in the Carolinas, we have a ridge of high pressure. And so that has clockwise rotation. So it's helping just to push this system in and out of here pretty quickly. So that's what's contributing to some of the speed here. We do have some steering factors at play. I know that that was one of the things that we were concerned about, which was leading to a lot of uncertainties, especially the speed of this system. I think about a week ago, the GFS was showing that this thing was just going to meander around the Gulf for a few days. That's not the case anymore. That's going to be the good news. Now we're starting to have a lot of our questions answered. And so really looking like in and out of here. The only unfortunate part, however, is that it still has a favorable environment to move through. And again, if you noted there, that is just one model run. So model's still a little bit of disagreement, but talking more about those water temperatures, it's warm out there, mid 80s, and still expecting it to move over even warmer water in some portions where we're not seeing some of those buoys. And also the tropical wind forecast. Again, in case you're joining us here on the comments, I'm going to answer all of these, I promise. I just have to keep you guys updated, but let's also get ready for the 9 p.m. newscast. So I'm going to go back and answer any of those in the comment section if I haven't answered anything for you yet. Hopefully some other folks can also join in too in case I have answered that question. Here's a look at that tropical wind forecast. Still even pushing it a little bit further towards the east. I will say that the GFS has leaned towards this, and also this is going to be the graph. It's pushing it a little bit further east than what the National Hurricane Center track has. So it's pushing it further away from us here locally in Mobile. And winds, weak tropical storm force winds. It's just going to be breezy once we get closer towards Wednesday and Thursday if this track continues to stay on the path that it's currently headed. Now, our friends, unfortunately, closer towards the Big Bend region of Florida, still going to be experiencing some of those hurricane force winds towards that landfall approach. Category 3, major hurricane. This will be a strong system. The wind field also looking very large. You can see the peninsula of Florida. It's dipping down just towards other portions. Even Fort Myers still starting to see some of those stronger wind gusts there. We're just on the better side of this system. We are going to be located on the west side of it, so our impacts will be felt less. We'll still feel some of them, just not as great as what we just saw with Francine when we were on the east side of the system. So do keep in mind with that. And also I want to talk more about that steering flow that I had mentioned. So if you look down closer towards Jamaica, Cuba, that's where we're keeping an eye on soon to be Helene. And then we get further along into the rest of the week. It's approaching closer. And then that's where we're going to start to see some of those factors at play. So look closer towards Bermuda. That is going to be that ridge of high pressure. It has that clockwise rotation. It's going to help to push some of that in and out of here. And if you look closer towards St. Louis and Nashville, you're going to see some of those wind bars there that are just rotating a little bit in that counterclockwise rotation. That's going to be that upper level low. And again, it's just going to move right in between them. And so it's really going to take the path of less resistance and shift further off towards the east. That's going to be the Big Bend region that it's going to be moving towards. So that upper level low that's in the mid-south, it's helping us out here locally to continue to push it further away. So just a little bit on the steering factors there. Let's talk local impacts. I've seen some folks here that are joining us that are from other parts of the country. So thank you for joining us. Even if you're located on the Gulf Coast, you will feel those impacts to your rip current risk. They're beautiful today, low heading into tomorrow, moderate by Wednesday. Really heading into Wednesday afternoon is likely when we'll start to see some of that deteriorating taking place at our local beaches in terms of the rip current risk. It's going to get rough out there. It's going to turn to high by Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Our Gulf waters will be closed. Just a reminder, surfers are allowed out there because they have that flotation device attached to them, the surfboard. But other than that, stay out of the Gulf waters. Do not put yourself at risk. Do not put others at risk. And know that if you're vacationing down here, you want to swim out in the Gulf, just don't do it. It's life-threatening. It's rough out there, extremely dangerous. So that'll be one of the main impacts that are felt here. But breaking down some of those local impacts. So that rough surf, expecting that to begin midweek. We will notice increased rain chances once we get closer towards Wednesday and Thursday. And then those breezy winds. Gusts here about 30 miles per hour. As you travel further towards the east, your impacts will be much greater that you feel with some of those winds, but still just that tropical storm strength until you get closer towards the center of circulation with what is soon to be Helene. But as mentioned, that forecast track is subject to change. Again, we really have to wait until tomorrow morning. That'll answer some of our questions once it becomes more organized. And then also the other big question is that strength that it's going to be once it pushes through the Yucatan Peninsula and into the southern Gulf. Is it going to still be that tropical storm strength, or is it already going to have strengthened into a hurricane? The good news is that it is going to be moving quickly. However, it's still moving into favorable conditions. So I hope that I answered some of your guys' questions here. Again, sorry that I had to join you guys late. We did have some of those technical difficulties earlier just with our graphic system that we were having to do. So happy I was able to join you guys for this evening. Again, the time right now is 8:43 p.m. here Central Time locally, and we will begin our 9 p.m. newscast here just in about the next 17 minutes. I am going to go through here and just update all of those comments that you guys left for me if I can answer anything. Thank you guys so much for joining me. Again, my name is meteorologist Jennifer Lambers here with Fox 10. Thank you guys for joining us. I will have more of those answers hopefully for you guys coming up on Fox 10 News at 9 and 10 p.m. I hope that you can join us there. But as always, you can follow us on our social media. If you have any additional questions, if you missed this Facebook Live, you can just drop them in the comments section, and you can always message us directly on Facebook and we can answer any of those there. Wishing everyone a pleasant Monday evening, but I will also have that additional 10 p.m. National Hurricane Center update live on Fox 10 News. Sometimes they come out early. I could have it at 9:50 if you guys are watching our 9 p.m. newscast. If not, I will have it at the top of the 10 p.m. But again, thank you guys so much for joining us for this evening. We'll keep you updated.